This is Jane Smith, a talented, beautiful assassin, and this is her tonight's goal. The guard heard the sound, prepared to burst in. But Jane didn't panic, even calmly hooked up the jump rope. Jane landed gently, then got in the car to go home. Currently, Jane is hiding her identity as an assassin and going to a neighbor's house for dinner with her husband. But Jane did not know that her husband, John Smith, earlier also just completed an assassination mission. It turns out, the young couple are hiding their identity as assassins. The famous movie, Mr.&Mrs. Smith. After returning home, both of them received a call about the new mission. After turning off the phone, John asked Jane what was the matter. Jane lied that her father's health was weak, so she must come home to visit him. Then, Jane asked John again, who had called him earlier. John also lied that the company was having some problems, so he has to go on business tomorrow. The next day, John pulled his luggage into the warehouse and opened the cellar door. Below is a secret base, storing a lot of money and guns. He takes the bag, then selects a weapon. At the same time, Jane woke up, went into the kitchen, pressed a few buttons on the oven. The doorway opened, and an advanced weapon storage system appeared before my eyes. Jane picked up her weapon, then left the house. She goes to a high-tech scanning room. This is her organization's secret base. The assistant says Jane's next target is a guy. The organization requires Jane to kill that guy on the border of the two countries. Jane sets off, then uses infrared binoculars to determine the target's location. Now Jane just idle to wait for the fish to bite, because she has already placed bombs around. As long as the car passes, the bomb will explode. But now, something unexpected happened. A car as if flying, still hit by a laser. Jane listened to her computer warnings, disconnected from the system, and watched with binoculars. The man was peeing in the middle of the desert. Jane reassured because it was just an ordinary person. But after a while, he took out a mini cannon again. This was Jane's rival, so she quickly opened fire. But Jane did not expect that this person was her husband, John. He also came here to kill that boy, but luckily he wore a bulletproof vest. Then John found out that his competitor was on the opposite side. John jumped out and directed the cannon barrel toward the opponent's base. The target heard cannons and hurriedly stopped the vehicle, so it was not hit by a bomb. John stood up, signaled that the target had escaped, and the opponent was already running. This mission failed to make John very angry. He took his computer to inform the organization. Then John asked technical staff to investigate the opponent's IP address. Technical staff quickly found out, the address was a 50-story high-rise building. John immediately went there, examining the billboard in the first-floor lobby. The CEO of this company is his wife. John was shocked. On the other hand, Jane also watched the camera again and discovered that the opponent was her husband. At this moment, John called Jane. They were scheduled to 7 p.m. dinner. During the meal, John suddenly got up and poured wine for his wife.
Done.
Oh no, secrets have been revealed.
I got it.
John went back to his room to get weapons for himself, but unexpectedly his wife was already running. It turns out, the lover who shared his bed with him for the past 6 years is the same person of the rival organization. John hurried to chase, about to catch up when John slipped, so he accidentally opened fire. John panicked, was about to apologize to his wife. But Jane was angry, because she didn't expect her husband to want to kill her. She pressed on the gas. By the time John broke the glass, she jumped out of the car. Now, they were ordered to destroy the enemy within 48 hours. The next morning, Jane took her comrades home to inspect the house. John came home and found that all his weapons were gone. He was angry, immediately went to his wife's company to find Jane. But he was still a step behind, and Jane got a warning. She destroyed all the data and soon ran. Seeing her adorable husband chase, Jane turned and smiled, then dashed over to the opposite building. John looked at his wife, but never fired. There is only 18 hours of time left. Jane finds clues from the pile of data destroyed, then to his wife's hiding place. But as he stepped into the elevator, a warning sound was heard. This is his wife's trap. The elevator has been installed with bombs. Jane tells John to quickly leave the city, but John is not afraid. On the contrary, he challenged his wife. I give up, you blow it up. Jane said jokingly, then I have to say goodbye to you. Now it's Jane's turn to be shocked.
What the hell was that? You said goodbye?
Jane looked at the area sealed off by the exploding elevator. She was not heartless. That night, Jane cried in the restaurant. At that moment, a hand took hold of her hand. It was her husband. It turns out John was getting ready soon. He changed the line, then hid in another elevator. John invited his wife to do a dance. They looked quite intimate, but they were actually still questioning each other. John pulled out a knife hidden at Jane's legs. Jane also took out the gun hidden in John's pants leg. The weapons were taken out, only the stick between them was still stuck. "We are all because of you," says John. "Because you've seen this marriage as a new mission." Jane replied, "Do you consider me a mission?" John was silent, he didn't know how to answer his wife. Jane was so frustrated, she stopped jumping and went to the bathroom. Moments later, a girl in panic ran from the toilet. John looked toward the door, and indeed his wife had run away. John hurriedly ran after, but now, an old man standing beside him said, "Why is there a headline on you?" John was startled, rushed out to throw the shirt in the trash. Unexpectedly his wife wanted him dead. John was really angry, he stole a car and drove home. But his wife is already a step ahead. Let's see how this couple quarreled. Firearms, secret bases, bombs. Losing their weapons, the two decided to fight barehanded. At this moment, the two of them both rolled forward. The organization wants them to kill the enemy within 48 hours. Time is running out, but Jane has yet to act. She told her husband to quickly open the gun, but he threw the gun out again. Family is down, but this is the happiest night ever since their marriage. Finished, they went out the door to sit and talk. John says he is colorblind, Jane says she has 3 fingers lost sensation. They talked about their flaws for the first time, but the relationship was closer. But they forgot something, 48 hours had come. The person the organization sent to kill them has also arrived. They hurriedly stole the neighbor's car to flee to another city. But unfortunately they still caught up, so together they fight together. Finally, Tail was chased by the crowd, but, they realized, running away didn't solve anything. So they decided to go first, go and arrest the guy the organization wanted to kill. Then use him to intimidate 2 organizations. 2 excellent assassins started together, quickly caught the target. They took the guy to the hotel, then asked, "Why do both organizations want you dead?" "See the bag I brought with you," he said. Jane took it out and was shocked. It was a photo of the couple walking together. It turns out, their boss doesn't want the assassins of the 2 organizations to be husband and wife, so this is the way. They wanted John and Jane to kill each other on their own, and that boy was also a trap. They have been tracked to the location. At this point, hundreds of assassins had surrounded the hotel, then broke into the room. But the Smiths and his wife have been running since when? They sneaked into a store to wear bulletproof vests, armed, disguised in preparation for battle. The first enemy group has arrived. 1 person, 2 people, 3 people, quickly settle it. But the more and more the enemy came, the more and more they lost their strength. At this time, Jane was hit and seriously injured. John rushed to save his wife. The 2 hid into a warehouse, took off their shirts, their bulletproof vests with hundreds of splashes. Now they are surrounded again, but the Smiths laugh at each other. As long as they stand together, it doesn't matter what happens. They put on their glasses, then head out. They need to fight hard. In the end everything was settled, they won. Finally, the couple once again went to the marriage counseling room, but for the same question, they have different answers.
Ask us the sex question. Hold on.